Let's touch base with Madhavan Menon of Thomas Cook. There's so much to talk to him about. I'm starting off with the opening peg of how the recent reports suggested that the Indian holiday season in the month of November, or the tourism industry in the month of November, tourist inflow in November has actually seen a big spurt compared to what we've seen in the recent past. Mr. Menon, thanks so much for joining in. First, that plain bread and butter question. If indeed tourism into India in October and November has inched up, and if December has turned out to be well too, how does it augur for all the players within the value chain and for Thomas Cook in particular?
Okay. Let me address your question in two parts, Niraj.
Sure.
First of all, as far as the inbound business is concerned, we have seen a growth in the inbound, in the number of tourists coming in, and I believe that this can be attributed to the visa on arrival policy that the government instituted nearly between 2 and 3 years ago. We're seeing the full wind blow through on this, and therefore tourists are finding it much easier to get visas, and therefore are traveling in greater numbers. I must also give credit to the fact that the government, in addition to the visas on arrival policy, have also changed the advertising strategy that they've undertaken in various countries around the world. And I think that is also beginning to kick in. And we could attribute both these aspects to the greater flows. Lastly, you'll appreciate that both Europe and the US economies are recovering, and therefore the number of tourists that are traveling from these two continents into Asia has grown significantly. Anywhere in Southeast Asia, you will find that there is an increase in tourists, and I think India just validates that aspect.
So has outbound and inbound both been great for you, Mr. Menon? Because if I look at the numbers too and break it up into segments, your travel and related services for first quarter, for second quarter have both done extremely well. Is this a pattern that will last and probably improve going ahead?
Yeah. So I actually, that's the other part I wanted to address, is that first of all, the first quarter 17-18 and the second quarter 17-18 are essentially months when actual travel take place. The metric that we use to measure upcoming travel is the forward booking numbers. And we are actually seeing double-digit growth both through winter and are beginning to see the early signs of bookings into summer of next year, which is 18-19. So yes, you are absolutely correct. We are seeing growth in both these segments, and we're looking forward to greater amounts of travel. Though, having said that, I must qualify that there is a changing pattern in the travel. We are beginning to see aspiring travelers who are in the lower age median traveling more frequently into places like the Middle East, especially Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Oman, and into places like Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia.
Okay. Having been spoken about, let's talk about the financial services business and the other allied businesses as well. If you can revisit the Tata Capital acquisition and what this would do to the overall console books and business, more importantly, over the course of the next 18 to 24 months.
First of all, you will appreciate that Thomas Cook and the Tata Group have had a long-standing relationship that is over 50 years old. And when they did indeed ask us if we were interested in picking up these two businesses, we did pick them up. In the consolidated numbers that we have, both Tata Capital, TC Forex and TC Travel, which is what the Tata Capital companies have been renamed, are not major contributors. But I will mention that we are well into the process of integration, and both these businesses are likely to achieve profitability during the current financial year.
Well, that is good to know. The other aspect, Mr. Menon, is this whole forex business. Now, a lot of business owners who are in this similar line of business, your peers, your competitors, as you call them, and when I speak to them, very bullish on how this set of businesses will shape up over the next few years. Your numbers are not very large compared to what your overall numbers are, the contribution from this forex business, is that set to change? And are you indeed investing a lot of mind space and capital into growing this business?
Well, first of all, let me mention that the foreign exchange business continues to be our largest single business. And it will continue to be a primary focus area given the size of the business. Given the large numbers that we transact, to expect large growth numbers is also very difficult, and you'll appreciate we're the largest player in the market. Now, we look at various segments within the business and we clearly see opportunities for growth. Take the prepaid card business, for example. We are the largest retailer of a prepaid card issued by us in partnership with MasterCard. We continue to be the largest player in that. We have an online segment where we are currently clocking close to 7,000 to 8,000 transactions a month. Now, that may not seem large in the context of other e-commerce platforms, but in our space, that is a decent number. And I will also mention that the repeats in that segment are very high. We're very comfortable with these growth segments. We also believe that with travel growing both inbound as well as outbound, our business will automatically increase both in the retail as well as in the wholesale segment. But clearly, in the longer run, this business is a mature business. You'll appreciate it will grow, in my opinion, somewhere in the 10 to 12% range per annum. And we're very comfortable with those growth rates.
Would valuations for this business go up? A lot of players are in the fray to list their arms separately as well. Do you reckon the valuations for such a business could move up as opposed to they being in a consolidated entity?
Niraj, I don't want to speculate what my so-called competitors are doing. Very honestly, we believe that we are in a space where we need to continuously innovate, and that's exactly what we've been doing over the years. We are, you will appreciate, amongst all our competitors, excluding the banks, the only issuer of a prepaid card in the industry. We continue to make large remittances out of the country. Lastly, in the money transfer business, I think we've achieved a first. We are the principal agent for three of the largest money transfer businesses. One is Western Union, the other one is MoneyGram, and the third one is Express Money. Now, we intend to expand our network in the money transfer business because we actually believe that while that has grown significantly over the last 2 years, we would see even greater growth. That is an area that we would also like to focus on.
Great. Would have loved to talk more, Mr. Menon, but out of time completely on this leg. Thanks so much, though, for joining in and sharing some thoughts about the business, and all the best for this holiday season.
Thank you.